the moon as the memory of the solar system.
For a lot of people, it is spiritual somehow. It regulates so much about our lives, the passing of the months and the seasons and the tides.
So after the 70s, we maybe thought there was nothing to discover anymore from the moon. But you know, science is a never-ending story.
It's to visit the far side of the moon and collect samples.
这次负责将嫦娥6号送入太空的长征5号是我国运载能力最强的火箭。
It will also carry scientific equipment from France, Italy, the European Space Agency, and Pakistan.
中国探月工程4期嫦娥6号任务首选发射窗口，瞄准17时27分。
Chang'e 6 is one step closer to the moon. The rocket responsible for launching the probe has arrived at the launch site.
月球就像地球的镜子，因为就像人照镜子一样，你自己看自己是看不全的，有一面镜子，你看自己就会看得更全面。月背比月亮本身还神秘，因为我们看不到，所以它都有很多是在猜想当中的。
More than 3 years ago, Hu Hao led China's first mission to return soil samples from the moon. The success of that mission saw China become only the 3rd country in the world to achieve such a feat. Yet performing the same mission on the moon's far side presents a whole other story.
最复杂的探月之旅是毫无疑问的。当时我记得评审的时候，专家提出来说：“你们这么一个方案，就是风险太大啊！”这个专家很不客气地说：“我反对这个方案。”这个我还是就说几十年航天这个工作没有碰到过啊，唯此一例。反对理由就是风险太大，环节太多，可靠性太低。这次呢又加上了中继星，接着总是有新的挑战。而这些新的挑战、新的问题的解决，又带来了成就感。
他常征程了，所以送一下，送星星。
月背有我的1图2号，他还在走。其实我也很想去月背，然后最后送一程，后面可能就到天上见了。
发场呢，保障了航天器和火箭的正常测试。目前呢，器件主体的状态良好。
长6行，长6肯定行，要成功，对，成功，成功。
Many international scientists have come to China to take part in Chang'e 6's groundbreaking endeavor. Exploring the far side of the moon has long been their dream. Planetary scientist Pierre-Yves Meslin has spent his career studying distant stars. His scientific device will be among those on board Chang'e 6.
Are you excited?
Yes, yes. Day -5, but we're counting the days in hours now.
-5, exactly.
I think Chang'e 6 will change our view of the moon.
One key question that the Chang'e 6 mission will help answer is why is the far side of the moon so different from the near side?
As the moon's far side is hidden from Earth's view, it has always been a mysterious, unknown world. With this first sample return mission, Pierre-Yves believes this is about to change.
So the moon has two faces. This is the near side that we are facing from Earth every day. And of course, there is also the far side of the moon. By collecting rocks, we want to compare them to understand what makes a difference, how the interior of the moon evolved over time. I have been actually working and thinking about this project more than a decade ago, almost 15 years ago. And so I'm very excited that this project that was just in my mind finally becomes reality.
Scientists from around the world see this mission as an opportunity to further uncover the moon's secrets. With China opening Chang'e 6 to international cooperation, the probe will carry 4 scientific payloads from overseas. These are from France, the European Space Agency, Italy, and Pakistan. Each will attempt to discover something new about the moon.
Oh, it's exciting. It's a really real experience because I've been living in China since almost 3 years, and I was really expecting this occasion, and I'm also glad that there is a small part of Italy in this so big project. So that's important for us, for our audience.
I'm excited, and it's a great mission, a very important one. Bring back the temperatures, that will be exciting.
So on the day of the launch, it was very sunny. Everyone was very excited. The real large crowd on the beach. But the tension was rising as the timing of the launch approached. It not only became dark, but it seemed to come down.
The clouds and the storm came through just in time for the launch. No problem. We thought it would probably be postponed. Most rockets would at that point say, okay, we scrubbed for today, we try again tomorrow, maybe.
I'm interested to see whether, despite the weather, we're going to go ahead anyway.
I think
we're going to go ahead.
But clearly, Long March 5 does not care what the weather is. It can go anyway.
发射日当天呢，有5条弹道选择，最终呢要在点火前的25秒来确定哪一条弹道。
各号注意，1分钟准备，1分钟准备。10、9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1，点火！
What beautiful weather we have. We can see the rocket go. We can hear the rocket go. We're close enough to feel the rocket go. What a fantastic launch. We are on the way to the moon. Congratulations, that's really good.
And definitely it's probably one of the, I think the most exciting launch I've ever seen in my life. Because I've never seen people launching rockets in such conditions.
We want to see our tears, you know, tears of joy. So I'm thinking about how our instrument is shaking the rocket, but I'm pretty sure it will be all right, yes.
You know, in India, when you get married and it rains, it's considered a blessing from the heavens. So hopefully this was also a blessing for Chang'e 6.
The Chang'e 6 has gotten off to a good start. But many nail-biting moments still lay ahead. One of the main challenges is whether it can achieve a soft landing.
Probably you have forgotten that it's difficult to go to the moon because we are all have in mind the Apollo mission, the Surveyor mission, etc. But look, over the last year or 2 years, many different countries or private companies have tried to go back to the moon, and most of them failed, either totally failed or partially failed.
But now is the process of waiting for comms, and we are in standby mode.
Russia's first lunar mission in nearly 50 years has ended in failure.
Moon Sniper will try to put down within 100 meters of a predetermined target.
Just tip like this.
Remember, far side is on the opposite side of the moon. So landing on the far side, it's slightly more difficult because of communication, because you cannot communicate with the Earth.
China sent up the Chuiqiao-2 relay satellite to help address that issue in March. The relay satellite is a bridge between the lunar far side and the Earth, which are normally out of sight of each other. When Chang'e 6 starts its descent on the Moon, the relay satellite will be the only line of communication. Before starting the descent, Sheng Ruiqing, a flight control engineer, makes final preparations with her team. They can afford no missteps.
其实从动力下降前大概负20分钟，我们就有一套很密集的这个设备的开机动作，我就地面站就不可见了。这个时候我就只能依靠中继星建立中继链路。动力下降前的4分半。 这个时候 ，GNC 需要转入到着陆准备模式，也就是说，这个是我们最后一个决策点。如果说有异常的话，我们需要在动力下降前的2分半及时终止动力下降。着陆准备，
着上组合体转着陆准备模式。
Leaving Earth requires extremely high speeds. However, landing on the Moon requires cutting the speed to 0. Even with knowledge from successes, it's still hard.
我的整个的着陆过程，从7500牛开机点火，发动机的推力直接决定了我们后续的落点精度。
精心动魄，没有放松的时刻，就是精心动魄15分钟。 大厅里，包括机房里都是鸦雀无声。只要开始动力下降之后，它就是一个自主的过程。到达100米左右，然后进入悬停阶段，把这个目标着陆器选取后，然后进入一个避障模式。越背的地形更为崎岖，但是选的这个位置尽量要平坦。然后到达着陆点上方，主发动机关机。
From the heart of the system in the command room, we were to see what was happening, and you can feel it in yourself. That's not something you live every day.
Chang'e 6 has made a successful landing in the pre-selected Apollo basin. This crater is in a place scientists call a treasure trove, the South Pole Aitken Basin. It's the largest known crater on the Moon.
南极艾肯盆地直径有2500公里，是月球上目前已知最古老的撞击坑。所以这样一个大坑的话，你就可想而知这个撞击那是多么的强烈。
Remember, the one that killed the dinosaurs was only 10 kilometers, was very small compared to this huge one. And it went so deep. That he had to remove the crust, the thin, fine crust of the Moon.
This basin could be the key to unlocking the mysteries of the Moon's varied surface. For scientists, using scientific instruments to conduct research here offers a valuable opportunity to gather first-hand data that provides fresh answers. Chang'e 6 is carrying multinational scientific payloads. They will conduct imaging of the far side of the moon, lunar geological analysis, ranging and positioning, and lunar environment detection. These instruments will be used for exploration never before conducted on the moon's far side.
This international cooperation has been happening for hundreds of years. For all of these 100 years, we still continue today and have cooperation now, not just about the moon, but even on the moon.
The scientific team at the European Space Agency has developed a small particle detector called NIELS. It is the agency's first instrument on the moon. The team hopes to conduct an unprecedented mission in particle detection.
So if we want to explore the moon and expand out into the solar system, so the first thing we need to understand is what are the environments and the places we're going to go. The negative ions at the lunar surface experiment, NIELS, will make the first ever measurements of negative ions at the lunar surface.
Negative ions are short-lived and cannot make it into orbit. They can be detected only on the moon's surface.
Now, the surface of the moon is a place where there is no atmosphere. We have radiation from the sun striking the surface all the time. And these generate a cloud of electrons and charged particles and dust which can be moved around. And this complex environment is somewhere we need to live and operate with our robots and with human explorers in the future.
So it's fundamentally interesting to understand, but also it will inform us about the local environment that one day we will send people back to. It's informing us about that environment that we want to live and work in full-time in the end.
Understanding the lunar environment is vital for future space exploration. It offers us knowledge and maybe more. Are there resources on the moon we can utilize? Water is essential for human survival, as it produces oxygen and is a potential fuel material. Discovering water is the crown jewel in the exploration of lunar resources. Pierre-Yves is seeking clues to solve this puzzle.
Dawn is a project that I've been working on personally for many years, even before the selection.
So, yeah, more specifically, of course, what I want to discover on the moon is something that I have discovered also on Mars. How much of this radioactive gas called radon can the moon outgas? How much of this gas is released by the lunar rocks?
Scientists have found lunar soil contains radon gas. It's known to migrate to the coldest areas of the moon, the North and South Poles. Scientists could track down more coveted water resources using radon.
And especially if we understand better the migration of radon, we will be able to better understand also the migration of other volatile species, like for instance water, that can migrate to the cold polar regions and then form ices.
Even though the moon has no known forms of life, Pierre-Yves does not believe it is lifeless. He holds the moon close to his heart.
I had the chance to be born in 1980. So it came after 20 years of crazy, extraordinary missions that went almost all over the solar system. I was nourished by many images from all these spacecraft. Actually, there was a gap of almost 20 years, 15 to 20 years, where there was no mission, almost no mission to the solar system. So it's true that for many years I didn't think I had a chance to ever send an instrument to the moon.
With the Chang'e 6 mission, the long wait is finally over. This mission brought him to China, connecting him with like-minded Chinese colleagues.
一直以来呢，月球一直认为是一个死掉的一个星球。实际上呢，月球还是有很多活动的，比如说我们探测到的浅源和深源的月震，还有月球的脱气现象。以前阿波罗时代呢，就已经有这个月球冬气探测了。那个时候呢，是在月球环月轨道上，我们冬气呢是首次在月球表面上进行探测冬气。一切正常的话，我们会获得很大的一个科学收获。
长程报告：着陆上升组合体着陆月面，着上组合体着陆月面。
After successfully landing on the moon, Chang'e 6's scientific instruments are now ready to get to work on the surface. The first big test is starting up. Can the instruments withstand the extreme temperature difference and switch on after the long flight?
People are shaking now and getting nervous. It is because it's kind of the achievement of so many years of work. So, yeah, we're anxious.
And then it cools down by 2 degrees. So for a while, it was very concerning. But that meant that when we did turn on and we got good data, then of course there's a very big relief. We actually got more than 3 times as much science data as we needed.
It was very exciting also to see how like a short mission, because every minute counts. And so we were a bit of anxiety, but also we were really focused on that. We collected very good quality data.
While all the scientific instruments are working, there's something else concerning the scientists: moon soil. Beneath the lunar surface lies something that could dramatically alter or even overturn our understanding of the moon's origins.
It sounds like almost every planet has a one type of science, and the moon science is all about origins.
出生日期是一个生命体，是一个星球最重要的标志。那么月球大概是45亿年，对不起，这个误差不确定度大概有1亿年，所以说月球的生日我们还不太清楚。那死亡的日期呢？现在我们大概知道20亿年前，但是不是就是20年前呢？我觉得还需要研究，但至少比过去认为30亿年前或者28亿年前要年轻很多。
Analysis of samples collected by the Apollo 17 crew suggested the moon died 3 billion years ago. That finding was overturned in 2021 after testing on samples gathered by Chang'e 5 from the near side of the moon. Li Shenhua and his team made a major discovery that rocked the science community. They found that the moon was active for much longer than previously thought, 800 million years longer. The team also identified the youngest lunar basalt samples. Analysis of the Chang'e 5 samples also discovered a new mineral, changasite. It's the 6th mineral found on the moon. Chinese scientists also found molecular water locked within a mineral.
因为我们5号已经有很大的可以产出了，所以大家希望6号第一次到背面以后能够解答更大的问题。
月球为什么会正面和背面两半球怎么差了这么多？这是一个非常重要的1级的科学问题。我们有很多的这个假说，有很多的这个猜想，对不起，我们都没有得到统一的认识。我们需要获得月球的这个背面的样品来直接进行研究。
At the Beijing Aerospace Control Center, scientists and engineers from China will soon embark on an historic venture to return samples from the far side of the moon.
无人的到月球上去采样，我们的科技人员希望我们拿到的月球样品一定要是月球上的状态，而不是经过污染的状态，还要满足科学家们对不同样品的要求。怎么能够把这个样品原汁原味的拿到地球上？这本身对航天人来讲就是很大的挑战。
Prior to 2024, 10 missions had collected soil samples from the moon's near side. Before gathering samples from the far side, many questions had to first be answered.
您说嫦娥6号它在月面工作2天时间内舀取跟钻取。
嫦娥6号在执行任务的时候，我们怎么去确保我们的这个通信环境
How will such a mission differ from operations on the near side? What challenges could arise if communications are disrupted? This is a crucial moment for Deng Xiangjing to present his findings from over 10 years of research.
感谢还是关心我们。科学应该讲是一个人类共同拥有的一个财富。我想我们中国的这个深空探测也是这么一个怎么办呢？
长6号，它可能是中国人第一次进行这个月背的这个采样。我想我的这个最大的期望就是我们这个团队能够真正的把样品采集到，去做人类首次的一个试验，并且把这些成果向全世界给呈现。
In 2020, Deng and his team achieved a first for China when they collected soil samples from the lunar near side.
从我承担这个主任设计师开始，第一是我很喜欢，第二呢，我觉得它很重要。我们中国人第一次从月球表面拿回了地外天体的这么一个样品。如果是用我跟孩子的话来讲，就是中国人去摘了一片月亮，摘回来了。我觉得这个事情真的是值得人一辈子去付出去做的。
His workplace is the closest simulation of the environment on the moon, looking barren and isolated. It's piled with volcanic ash gathered from across the country. It took his team more than 10 years to design the sampling system, starting from scratch.
我小时候是在农村长大的，我想可能跟我的这个成长的环境有关系。可能在很多人的心目里面，种水稻的先把秧给插下去，然后我们等到秋天就可以收割了。实际上，我的成长经历告诉我，不是这样的。种水稻是个很复杂的这个过程，你要去照料它。我想人一辈子要收到秋天的那颗稻种，你就是要在平时里面不停的去看着它，不停的去护着它。
Now it's time to put their hard work to the test.
着陆以后，我的心理感觉是我们已经把这个接力棒拿过来了。
2个圈，这是大圈，这是小圈。
Chang'e 6 aims to gather around 2 kilograms of lunar soil samples. The lander is carrying 2 sets of sampling tools for drilling into the surface and scooping soil. These processes need to be completed in 48 hours. Every second counts. But first, on the ground, Deng and his team had to build a replica environment. Everything that happens on the moon first gets tested here.
我们的第一步呢，就是要把月球表面的这个环境进行物理重构，进行我们的这个采样点的选择，确认我们在天上执行的每一个指令都是安全的。
As the drill bores into the lunar topside, the engineer's biggest concern is whether any rocks will block it.
你看它从上到下也有一些这个红色的斑点，有可能就是碎石块或者是碎石聚集区，到2米的深度大概就是这样的。
从我们月亮结构探测仪的探测的这个结果来看，跟我们表面探测状况是有差异的。从我们的那个雷达图里面能够清晰地判断到0.5米到0.8米之间是有奇异区域的，就是多石块雷达波。然后在月球表面以下1米的这个位置里面，又有另外一个这个多石区，2米以下那是非常明显的这个有巨石区的一个存在。
挂号注意，我是北京，下面组织实施月壤预编程钻取采样。
The Chang'e 6 drill bit is made of a unique material that is more than 3 times stronger than steel.
通过我们的这个设计师的设计，包括我们的这个实验验证，我们找到一个最理想的啊，既能实验土壤的，也能实验碎石堆的，甚至还能实验石块的这么一个钻头，就是我们现在上天的这么一个钻头。
The drill pushes through rubble 1 centimeter at a time. As it descends, the engineers must now decide whether to stop and protect the existing samples.
在往上提行整形的时候，有一个参数就是超出了预期，然后它自动停。现在就在想办法处理。
我们大概做了这个几百次、上千次的这么一个实验，就是你越往下走，实际上往后处理的结果，它可能会衍生出来更严重的一些问题。比如说， 提心你提不起来，软带会提不起来，会卡住等等的，带来的风险大于我们可能产生的收益。
挂号注意，我是北京，下面组织点切分离。
友谊报告，断取密封正常。
挂号注意，我是北京，断取采样封装正常结束。
The drilling work is successfully completed. The next task is to collect samples from the lunar surface. For this, the robotic arm plays an important role. Nearly 4 meters long, the arm can sample multiple areas of the lunar surface within a range of 120 degrees. But to make best use of the technology, it's not suitable to control it remotely from Earth.
我们对它的这个17个段进行了这个完全智能化，所有的指令的发送、自主状态的判断，都是完全是由气上自主的。最长的可能有70、80条指令。
Through a series of complex movements, the lunar soil is carefully scooped up and placed into a container.
6号预备的采样任务顺利完成。
多拍拍我们那个队员，这个我做的工作是很有限的。这个每一位的这个实验队员付出这么辛勤的这个劳动，通过这么多年，感谢他。
实际上，如果是你把10年时间缩成一个点，你可能觉得这个事情是一个很艰难的事情。如果是你把这些工作放到10年的这个时间度去做，实际上也不难，就是每天做好一件小事情。我们长6号的月壤成功，也是人类历史上第一次拿到的月球背面的这个月壤。我想这份月壤是中国人呈现给世界的一份礼物。我想这份礼物也是与我们中国人民的智慧和中国人民的勤劳相匹配的一份礼物。
Among the experts working on the Chang'e 6 mission is a team of young scientists. China's aerospace initiatives are opening pathways for young people worldwide to pursue their dreams. Aboard Chang'e 6 was the IQQ satellite. It was designed by these young people from Pakistan and China. They are trying to get their dream shots, images of the moon. Their journey of lunar exploration began long ago with their fascination for the moon.
It all started from my childhood. I usually stare at the moon from my rooftop. How can we explore the moon and how can we get through the surface of the moon?
去月背实际上就是人类对于未知的一种向往。我觉得这种对未知的期待与探索的精神，开创了我们的大航海时代。今天我们站在地球上，我们知道月球在哪里，火星在哪里，太阳系在什么地方。我想我们是比 我们的祖先更幸运的地方。
This is the acute model, structure model. So
Leading the Pakistani side of the project is Professor Qamar Islam. For him, this satellite has special significance.
My name is Qamar, and the Qamar means moon. It so happened that I chose the area of engineering, and I ended up in doing space work for the last 40 years or 41 years. When I was studying, we were interested in use of space by just watching the TV channels, and nothing more than that. China National Space Agency, then we have our space agency Suparco.
Professor Qamar Islam was part of Pakistan's first satellite project more than 3 decades ago. The rocket that launched that satellite was China's Long March 2E. The satellite was named Badr, meaning full moon.
The reason is that moon is the natural satellite of the Earth. Naming as Qamar or Badr is like launching a second moon.
Such cooperation is now common among the younger generation, who are setting their goals much higher. Their task was to design a nano-satellite weighing fewer than 7 kilograms, smaller than a laptop, yet incredibly powerful in functionality. The team had to overcome multiple challenges.
相当于10公斤左右的卫星才能做到的事情，那么我就必须要在6.5公斤把它做到。那么同时呢，这还是一个去月球那么远距离的一个卫星，对于我们的挑战，我觉得是非常大的。
那么我们做实验是要做到9个 G 甚至10几个 G 往上做，我们是有非常大的这个冗余度的，这才能保证我们这么重大任务的绝对成功。
The major challenge would be the designing of power subsystem and the thermal subsystem, because the temperature over the far side is really harsh. The design should be temperature resistant, as batteries get depleted very quickly in the cold environment.
那么现在呢，我终于有机会亲自把我的相机送上了月球的表面，去看一看月球的真正的面目。
May 8th is the biggest day for iCubeQ. The young Chinese team in Beijing is responsible for making sure the satellite successfully separates from the probe and is in working order. The team faces its first challenge, releasing the satellite as planned.
最紧张的节点肯定首当其冲，肯定就是我们卫星下车的那一刻。那么如果卫星的任务成功了，那么我们可能会在第一时间，就是从遥远的38万公里之外，我们收到它的第一个信号。
南洋报告，一方星遥测接收正常。一方星遥测接收正常。
It illuminates everything. It illuminates the team, it illuminates the hard work, and realizing the dream.
It's the first step for Pakistan in the deep space missions.
夜晚的时候，你看到明月在黑暗当中高高挂起，你就知道我们曾经做过的东西就在那个地方遥望着我们，我们也在遥望着它。
Chang'e 6 has completed all the tasks on the surface within 48 hours on the moon. It's time to bring the samples back home. Chang'e 6 travels home at about 11 kilometers per second, 45 times faster than a civil airliner. Without deceleration, it faces the risk of burning up upon re-entry into the atmosphere. To mitigate this risk, China has implemented a clever method.
5600公里用20分钟来走完。第一次载入的这个过程就是一个大火球，它和空气的摩擦呀，是在红外的摄像机下是可以看到快速的移动。这个时候就是如果不了解情况，确实会很担心的，那是个火球啊。
出减速伞。
蒙氏明白。
开伞点的精度到200多米，这个精度我觉得我是很满意的，非常说明我们的技术水平。
雄鹰任务正在赶往落点现场，报告完毕。
北京明白。雄鹰猛士按预定方案开展搜索回收行动。
各号注意，我是北京，嫦娥6号返回器已正常返回预定着陆区域。
现在我宣布，探月工程嫦娥6号任务取得圆满成功。
干我们这个工程的这个队伍啊，是有共同的梦想，能够实现9天揽月的这么一个目标。我认为这是一个共同的梦想。
The first samples from the lunar far side have now been unveiled to the world. In total, they weigh 1,935.3 grams. These samples hold crucial clues to unraveling the mysteries of the moon.
It's a beautiful achievement, and you know, as if you were opening an Egyptian pyramid and finding some 5,000 years old books. Same idea, because this is going to help you make progress about understanding the Earth. It's for the good of mankind.
And what I can tell on Chang'e 6 has been an excellent collaboration, okay? It's not because we're here because China cannot do it, but we bring our own ideas, and they have their ideas, and putting them together, well, most of the time 1 + 1 is more than 2 when it comes to ideas. I'm sure of that.
But also CNSA, we know that they invited other laboratories from around the world to make applications, to have some of the sample to analyze, which is another good example of really nice cooperation. It's great to see.
科学探测的目的是应用啊，是要增进人类的福祉啊。因为我们探月工程是叫科技工程，有科学的一面，有技术的一面。从技术这个层面上来讲，我们完成任务了，我们圆满成功工程。但是从科学的那边讲，我们刚刚开始。
Further missions to the moon are already in the planning stages. Chang'e 7 and Chang'e 8 will focus on the lunar South Pole.
嫦娥7号去的目的主要是第一次到月球南极，我们要飞越永久的阴影区里面去找水，争取能够找到直接的证据。还有呢，我们要发射嫦娥8号，主要是对月球南极的资源的考察，做一些资源开发类的工作。
Wu Wei-run is the chief designer of China's lunar exploration program. He spent much of his career with the program. Over a span of 20 years, it has developed from launching China's first lunar satellite to bringing back lunar samples. The program has also remained committed to international participation, which will continue with Chang'e 7 and Chang'e 8. Scientists from around the world are working together to put their best equipment on the moon. Chang'e 7 will carry 6 international payloads, including another set of laser retroflectors from Italy, along with the one that Chang'e 6 took to the lunar far side. These instruments will guide future spacecraft navigation and more.
This was already done 55 years ago. We have measurements from the near side of the moon. Current reflectors on the moon, the Apollo and lunar cold reflectors, are old generation. But this will work there as a milestone. You put small reflectors in the far side, like Chang'e 6, close to the pole, then you can measure metrically also the other surface. We can expand this network So these are the next generation of objects that we want to put on the moon in order to be measured from the Earth. We're going to have in the near future, but even now, devices which are capable both of doing laser communication to serve in their exploration, be it Mars, asteroids, Phobos, the moon, or even Earth.
The moon's south pole will also host a long-term scientific project, the International Lunar Research Station. China aims to build this station in collaboration with multiple countries.
这个科研站呢，通过轨道站是吧，月球表面站联合起来，再加上地面设施，比如我们大科学工程总部，这样实施起来可以长时间有人或者无人在月球南极进行工作，进行科学探测，进行资源开发。这个站要建成，那至少有一只标志，是什么标志呢？简单说有4有。 有工具，有能源，有通信，有住的，有住的。我们现在已经开始在月球上要准备打出第1块砖。我们利用太阳光，然后就地取材，然后液体我再用3D 打印就可以实现这种打砖、砌墙、盖房、铺路都可以。所以希望以后以月球这个南极这个科研站为基础。 奔向更远的天体，比如说以后奔向火星，为探测火星做准备。
Will humans return to the moon? The US has unveiled its ambitious Artemis program. NASA aims to return its astronauts to the moon before the end of the decade. China also plans to put its first astronauts on the moon by 2030. With the world on the verge of a new age, China is spearheading global collaboration to explore the moon and beyond, for the good of all humanity.
大家都认为一定要向全世界开放，我们不设置任何障碍。目前为止，我们已经和10多个国家和将近30个国际科研机构我们签署了协议。我们说要争取能够实现和500个国外科研机构，5000名国外科研人员共同来打造我们国际月球科研站。
It's been more than 60 years since humans began shooting for the moon. Since then, probes and astronauts have made the 380,000-kilometer journey time and again. Each time, we have learned something new. Each trip represents our ingenuity, struggles, and relentless pursuit of knowledge.
Yes, well, people always think that this mission is all about science. True. It's all about technology. True. And it's about human experience. It's about people.
这月球是全人类的。 星星也是全人类的，所以呢，一定要发挥全人类的作用，最后成果共同分析，共同研究，共同享受。
We all, as human beings, share the same moon. It's a part of a poem by Verlaine, a French poet, that talks about the white moon. And you know, the white moon is like the far side of the moon because of these bright rocks. So it's really a peaceful a message about how the moon kind of gives light to space, really to bring peace on Earth. La lune blanche. Un vaste et tendre apaisement semble descendre du firmament que l'astre irise. C'est l'heure exquise.